Hi, my name is Joanne Bolos. I am the owner and founder of Secret of the Islands. Secret of the Islands is the world's first antibacterial and antiviral hand scrub. I'm here today with Dr. Rick Corbett. Dr. Corbett is an epidemiologist and a medical microbiologist. Dr. Corbett, what is that exactly?
Well, an epidemiologist is a scientist that studies the cause and distribution of diseases in populations. We look at all kinds of diseases, especially we look at infectious diseases. And as a medical microbiologist, I deal with microorganisms that cause disease in humans.
Okay, Dr. Corbett, so I feel like about 11 years ago, that was when I actually started this company. You and I were sitting here and we were discussing the H1N1 pandemic at that time. And there was a lot of attention brought to hand washing. And I feel like we're right back at the spot where we were 11 years ago, only with a new virus. What exactly is a virus?
A virus is what we call an obligate intracellular parasite. It's the perfect parasite. And by obligate, we means it must function inside of a host cell. For example, the current virus infects the cells of the lining of the respiratory tract. It cannot function at all without being inside of a host cell. Viruses are not living. They are very sophisticated chemicals, basically, but some viruses, like the coronaviruses, also have an envelope. The envelope is actually taken from host cells when the viruses reproduce, and the envelope is mainly phospholipid. And also, on the outside of the phospholipid envelope, you have spikes. The spikes are there for attachment to host cells. This determines which cells can be infected by the particular virus.
Okay, so the virus itself, how do we kill the virus?
How do you kill the virus? That's an excellent question. You can't kill that which is not alive. You inactivate the virus. That means you make it impossible for the virus to infect a cell. Well, if the envelope contains spikes that can attach to host cells, you could either block the spikes, which is what we do with antibodies, okay, or you could destroy the envelope, which is what we do when we have anything like a detergent. An envelope is a phospholipid membrane on the outside of some viruses. The coronaviruses always have an envelope. The envelope was taken from the host cell when the virus is reproduced.
Okay, so to stop you for 1 minute, when you say the envelope, are you actually referring to like an outer coating on the virus itself? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's an outer membrane. It's very similar to the cell membrane of the host cell. And it was stolen from the host cell. Okay. It also has what we call spikes in the envelope. The spikes were put there at the direction of the virus.
So the COVID-19 virus, that would have a different envelope than, say, the H1N1 that we saw, what was that, 10, 11 years ago? Is that correct?
It would be different because of the spikes, not because of the phospholipids. And the way you would destroy or kill, if you want to use the word, destroy a virus would be to either break up that phospholipid membrane, detergent action, such as soaps, salt scrubs, or dissolve it, like with alcohol.
Okay, so you destroy the outside of it, the virus can no longer attach then.
Right.
Is that correct?
Once you've destroyed the envelope, the virus has no means of attaching to a host cell, and it's totally inactivated. So you don't have to worry about it.
So how is this virus spread? I see a lot of people wearing masks, and I don't know if it's from just over panicking, or is that actually doing stuff to prevent the virus from spreading person to person?
The mask probably doesn't do anything but produce panic.
Okay.
The virus is so small that it will go through a china plate. Thus, it would go through a mask. So that's probably useless at best. The best way to control is, one, wash your hands. In fact, epidemiologists love to say, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Most important thing you could do to stop the spread of infectious disease. The second thing is to limit contact, especially with people that are infected. Okay, if you think somebody's infected, limit the contact. Staying out of the public, it helps, but you're isolating yourself. And the majority of the time, you are not going to come in contact with anybody that actually is infectious, because the prevalence of this disease is really low. It's about 0.002%. So that's extremely low. You're not likely to encounter it, but if you do, you could be infected. So the best way to not be infected, of course, is to not be around people who have the disease. Coughing is a way of spreading it. Now, there are several ways you can spread a respiratory tract disease. There are a number of these diseases, like measles. It's always spread by the respiratory tract, and it's spread by truly respiratory route. When you have measles, you breathe out the virus and it goes everywhere. This is not the way we think, or at least the data indicates that this virus is spread. It's by droplet nuclei.
So there's been a lot of articles I've seen on Facebook. I think I've even seen things come out in the news that have people in a panic stating that this particular virus or disease is airborne, meaning that it survives in the air for 12 hours after someone sneezes, the virus is floating around. Is there any truth to that?
It appears to be the case that there is no truth to that.
There is no truth to that.
It may survive on the surface for 12 hours. Actually, it may survive on the surface for up to 4 days.
Okay.
But it's not going to stay in the air because it's in droplet nuclei. And these are nothing but droplets of liquid that contain the virus. When you cough or sneeze, that's what comes out. And this will fall. In fact, it won't go much further than your arm's length. So if you're not coming really close to people and you're not repeatedly exposed to them, the probability is that you will not get the virus.
So Dr. Corbett, based on your experience, and you have 31 years in the field, the most effective way from inactivating and essentially killing the virus is going to be to disinfect surfaces and wash your hands. So what makes our product, our salt scrub, so effective in deactivating this virus?
Well, you have a great deal of detergent action with your product. Because of the salt emulsifies fats. That means it breaks them up into small particles, which can be easily washed away. But if you break up the fats in the envelope collapses and the spikes collapse. That leaves nothing but the inner capsid or protein coat of the virus that cannot attach to anything. The salt scrub works very well because it's both high in salt as well as an emulsifier. And I can give you an example of emulsification that's very easy to understand. If you ever use cast iron frying pans, you never wash them, not truly, with soap and water. That's not a good thing to do. What you are told to do is to put salt in the pan and take hot water and clean it with salt and hot water.
Yes.
That breaks up the fats, which you can easily rinse away with water. Salt will deactivate and kill it, if you will. And also you have a secret ingredient, which I'm not at liberty to discuss, that will indeed enhance this process, this detergent process. So that will destroy the outer membrane that we call an envelope, and thus the virus becomes non-functional.
Okay. Dr. Corbett, thank you so much for your time today. And just for the record, how long were you an epidemiologist and medical microbiologist? Not that you still aren't, but how long did you practice for? Yes, how long did you practice for?
I am retired. I've been an epidemiologist for 31 years, medical microbiologist, let's see, since the 70s.
Since the 70s,
Since the
yeah.
early 70s.
Yeah.
I got my
So we're talking 50 years then.
Yes,
50 years. 50 years.
Longer than I want to admit.
Yes. We'll put it back to 30 then. 30 years. So
Yeah,
30
at
years.
least 30. Yeah, at least 30.
So, well, thank you so much for your time and the information and for answering all of our questions and clearing a lot of things up. I feel the media right now they're all over the place. You're hearing different things depending what stations you're tuning into, and we're not getting anything fact-based on the virus. We're not getting answers. We're not getting clarity. We're getting predictions for the spread. We are not getting any concrete answers. So thank you for providing that for us.
We
today.
don't really know where the virus is going, but from the current prevalence rate, it's not going as fast as people think. I mean, we've only had about 7,000 cases in the United States. We've had far more cases of the flu. In fact, we probably have more cases of measles. I have not checked that, but we probably have more cases of measles. It's not going as fast as people think. And the good news is the mortality rate is only about 1% of those who have the disease. So that's really, really quite low. We should not be panicking. In fact, that's the major problem, panic. Epidemiologists hate the word pandemic. We hate it with a passion because it scares people. And fear only makes things worse than ever before. So don't be afraid. Wash your hands, be careful, be reasonable. But don't fear this and don't go around with masks all over the place because it's not going to help you. Okay, we'll get over this, and we will not have as many deaths from this as we will some other things. Now, every death is important, but we will survive it.
Dr. Corbett, I think it's very important that the public is made aware of the facts surrounding this virus and is able to get concrete answers on this. Would you be willing to sit with me every week to give updates to our followers, to our community, to our neighbors, so we can get truth behind the virus, to really understand what's going on and what we should be doing in the actual spread of this?
I would be glad to. I think getting the facts out is the most important thing that we can do. Really, keeping people from panic is really one of the biggest things that we need to do in this country right now to stop this, because people are scared, and they're scared too much. It's, in fact, I think the bigger pandemic is the pandemic of panic.
I agree. I've seen small businesses that are shutting down. People are afraid to leave their homes. People are afraid to go to the grocery store. And while I'm not saying there isn't a problem for the elderly people, I think the media is creating such panic and such hysteria that is the real problem. We need truth. We need facts. All of us do as a community.
I agree. The facts are what you need. We don't need supposition, and we don't need to make predictions, because we don't know for sure where things are going. This could be all over in 6 weeks, or this could last 6 months. We don't know. But the probability is that it will not last 6 months. But we still don't know that. And we need to stick to the facts, stick to the truth. We don't need to come up with theories. Well, I shouldn't say theories. We shouldn't come up with wild guesses, which is what, unfortunately, the media is very good at doing.
So right now we stick to the facts that we know, which is this is a virus with an outer coating that can be deactivated through soaps, detergents, products like our salt scrub, and keep surfaces clean.
Right. And limit contact.
And limit contact.
It's the best thing you can do.
And limit contact. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Corbett.
You're quite welcome. I enjoyed being here.
Yes, thank you. And for everyone to remember, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.